What I would say first is, no matter what, when you're playing the blues, if you ever get lost, you just got your trusty old minor pentatonic scale. You've got your blues scale, which is just adding a note. Your, extension. This little box up here is amazing. Right? So you can play those concepts, and I would suggest you get really comfortable with those before you're worrying about playing over the changes, okay? Because that's kind of what, because that's what's going to kind of get you through everything, and I use that as just kind of my backdrop. And then, more than anything, your ear is going to be able to eventually hit those sweet little notes in there that will emphasize each of the chord changes. So technique one, as far as playing over the three blues chords, one technique would be using some A major pentatonic licks over the one chord. So the A major pentatonic would be right here, or this little box. You should know them for this lesson. Go back and learn them if you're not that comfortable. But a real cool spot for it, where we're still kind of in this A box here, would be 6 right there, and then 5, 7, and then 5, 7. And so one technique could be playing more A major pentatonic licks whenever it's on A7. And then when it's on the 4 chord, you play the A minor pentatonic and as well as the blues scale. And that contrasts the chord changes, and it sounds real good, and it sounds traditional. You hear a lot of guys do that, okay? So, okay. And then when it's on the 5 chord, you can actually do either scale. But I'd say for this first concept, play the A major pentatonic for the 1 chord, and then the other 2 chords, you're going to play the A minor pentatonic scale. So that's the 1 chord. It's major pentatonic. Now I'm going to go to that A minor pentatonic. Back to the major. Now the 5 chord, back to the minor. So just over that A, I'm playing the major pentatonic. So forth and so on. So, and if the more spots you know how to play that major pentatonic, the more diverse your licks can be, and as well as the minor pentatonic. So that's just one kind of basic thing that you can work with. Another thing that I want to show you now, though, are the arpeggios for the chords, because those are the strongest notes. It doesn't mean the arpeggio in the blues. Just because you know the arpeggio, it doesn't mean that you're just going to play that arpeggio as your solo now. Not at all. One, it's just really important to know, to expand your knowledge of the fretboard. But then also, even just visualizing the arpeggio will at least show you the most strongest notes that you can emphasize and play melodies around. So for this A7, and for those of you that don't even know what an arpeggio is, it's just when you take the notes of a chord and you play them one at a time instead of all together. So like an A7 chord is this. The simplest arpeggio of that would just be, just going. But what I'm going to show you is a way to actually pick it through. Middle finger on the root. So that's the 5th fret. Sorry. So we got 5, and then we've got 4 on the A string, and then 7 on the A string. That's just a major triad arpeggio right there. Then index finger onto the 5th of the D to 7. That is an A7 arpeggio. Then 6 on the G. Then 5 on the B. Then 8 on the B. And then the root 5. And we'll just stop right there. So those are all the only notes being in this chord. But when you're doing a solo, it doesn't mean it doesn't mean that, but knowing it is half the battle. No, but so that's the arpeggio, right? Let's just take a little piece of it. The 5 and the 7. And then let's take the 6 of the G. But now let's add a blues flavor by hammering up to that 6 of the G from the 5. We're just... Okay. I can add that note, which is from the pentatonic.